Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey. If you like today's show, give it a thumbs up if you can fit it in between these Springbank bottles. And like and subscribe. And remember, folks, it's just whiskey. Today, we are going to be reviewing and talking about Springbank 12 cask strength. This is the latest one. Batch 26. All these batches, though, are not labeled anywhere in the bottles, but it's batch 26. And this is Springbank 12 cask strength at 56.2% ABV, and it was bottled on September 10th of 2024. It's the most recent one, and this was brought over by a friend of mine, and I did buy it from him, but he bought this at Springbank Distillery last fall. Pretty much as soon as it came out, he bought it, and he brought it to me, and I am enjoying it. Just a quick, what's interesting about this is it's the first time that I remember Springbank releasing two 12 cask strengths, two different ones, in the same year. So like I said, this newest one, 56.2, batch 26, bottled September 10th, 2024. But in the spring, they released the spring of 2024, they released the 57.2, which I reviewed on my Patreon channel. And so this one was bottled on May 9th of 2024. So that's the first time that I'm aware in recent Springbank history that they've released two in the same year. And then I'm going to be talking about the most recent Springbank that I reviewed, not the most Springbank 10 release, but this one here is was bottled on March 16th, 2022. And I reviewed this on my channel, and I reviewed the 2023 54.1. I reviewed that one, and then the 55.9, I reviewed this one on my Patreon channel. This one here came out in 2021. It's 100% Exbourbon. This is probably my favorite Springbank bottle. Check out my Patreon channel if you want to see the reviews on these. And what's interesting about the 100% Exbourbon is I heard an interview with the master distiller at Springbank, and he said this was his personal favorite because it represents the core, the DNA, the distillate-driven experience of Springbank. 100% Exbourbon. And then I'm not sure if I reviewed this. This is going back to 2020. This is a 56.1. It might have been before 2020. Yeah, this 56.1 came out in 2020. I'm not sure if I reviewed that one or not. I think that was right when I was starting my channel. All right, so we're going to get into the review of the newest Springbank 12 cask strength, 56.2, and it is made up of 60% bourbon, 35% ex-sherry, and 5% rum. Okay. Double distilled. So Springbank 10 and 12, they're lightly peated, double distilled, lightly peated. Some have more funk than other ones, but okay. So the peat isn't prominent on the nose. You're getting vanilla and some hidden fruits in there. That chalky, maybe a little bit of candy cigarette. But I described the Springbank 10 when I reviewed it recently, even though I'm not from Scotland. I feel like I'm home. It smells like home. On the palate, okay, here's where the complexities come in. It's a light sweetness, a little floralness, a little bit of spearmint. There's a wallop of fruit. It's also got some prickliness to it, some peppery prickliness, like a sprinkled black pepper on a freshly sliced pineapple. But then also, it's reminds me of canned peaches too. If you sprinkled some black pepper on some syrupy canned peaches, I think in the UK you call them tinned fruits. Over here we call them canned. So canned peaches or tinned peaches with some black pepper on it. A little bit of Play-Doh. And there's honey for sure, especially on the finish. The finish is long, sweet, with a cinnamon spice. Oily, viscous, great mouthfeel. But it is a little more spicier than some of the other releases. Definitely that cinnamon red hots on the back end. I'm not really picking up that Springbank funk. However, when the glass airs out a little bit, I can smell the honey, the dried honey, and a bit of that grassy peat, but not really a funk. So, why are all these bottles here? Because I'm going to tell you kind of some of my thoughts on these, which ones are my favorites, which I've already said in the past too. But so on my Patreon channel, boy, this is really nice. That last sip, that sweet candied fruit is there. Yeah, nice. This 57.2, which came out in the early part of 2024, I reviewed that in my Patreon channel. I think I enjoyed this a little bit more than the newer one. And I'm gonna end with the Springbank 10 because it's kind of significant, I think. And then this 54.1 from 2023, I reviewed this on my regular channel, Just Whisky. I'm still not connecting with it, even though it's what is it, 70% Exbourbon, 30% sherry, I think. It's one of my least favorite Springbank 12s. I'm just not really connecting with it. It's kind of winey. It's got, even though it's not, I mean, sherry's a wine, obviously, but it tastes like it's more, it has like a wine finish to it. It's a little different than all the other ones I have here. It's not bad, but I don't think I rated it highly. Yeah, and then the 55.9 from 2021, 100% ex-bourbon. That's my favorite. It just is. It's Springbank in a bottle. And then I've talked about this before, the 56.1 from 2020. This has like, I didn't write it down, but the cask makeup has some, ex-bourbon, ex-sherry, and I think a little bit of rum, but also some either port or cognac or something different. This one is a banger as well. This one is really, really good. Yeah, this is a 9 out of 10. The 100% ex-bourbon is probably close to a 10 out of 10, being a purist. You're not going to get all the bells and whistles, but you are getting 100% Exbourbon Springbank DNA here. Didn't really connect with this. I think I probably get maybe a 6 out of 10. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so I think we've covered all that. Going back to this is the most recent review I've done on this. I did it like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. The 2022 March 16th, 2022. This one is a candied fruit bomb. And I'll tell you, this particular batch is freaking awesome. I have a lot of Springbank 10s. This one here is one of my favorite Springbank 10s. I think I enjoy this more than the newest 56.2, more than the newest 12 cask strength. This Springbank 10 is just so much more quaffable. This is something to appreciate. And if you want another perspective on this Springbank, the newest one from 2024, Dramface just released a review on that. They gave it 8 out of 10. Spoilers. But read their review, which is going to be my score as well. I think it's excellent, something special. Yeah. But this Springbank 10 here, if someone said, okay, so a Springbank 10 costs about $85 to $100-ish in my area, if you can find them. Whereas, good luck finding a Springbank 12 cask strength. On the secondary market is probably where you're going to have to find them in their like $175 to $200 range. Even at a retail shop, you're probably going to pay $150 or $160 for it. So if somebody offered me, say, hey John, for $100, I'll get you another one of these Springbank 10s, or for $130, I'll get you another one of these, the newest Springbank 12. I would take the Springbank 10. I really, I prefer it over this. And this Springbank 10 is probably a 9 out of 10 for me. I forget what score I gave it, but it was probably damn close to that. I think that just about covers it. There's no gloating here. Yes, I'm very fortunate, but these have been accumulated over time with a lot of patience. And yeah. So if you want to see a couple of these that I talked about, check out my Patreon channel, $1 a month. Otherwise, consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below, and you'll have access to my Patreon reviews. That's my little spiel I'm going to save for the end now instead of the beginning. And thanks for all the Patreons that I do have. Much appreciated. Hats off to you all, and enjoy your journey.